Guys, welcome back to my channel. Be proactive by getting all your documents ready before you even get invitation to apply. That is ITA is very necessary. I say this because you just have 60 days to submit and gather all these documents and submit after you get your ITA. So you guys might think that 60 days is a lot of time, but I tell you, once you get that invitation to apply, and you don't have all these documents ready, it becomes a problem because you don't know the issues that you might face before getting this document. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all the documents that you need to get ready, all the necessary documents. I'm also going to be explaining each document in detail so you even know why you need to submit this document. Yeah, if that sounds like something you like, as usual, please stick around with me and I'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. So last week we spoke about how to start your express entry profile. If you missed that video, please click the link up there. If you're married and you want to begin your express entry profile, I always advise that you guys have a discussion. There are some factors that you need to put into consideration, like your age, your level of education, if you have siblings in Canada, your experience as your work experience, and all these factors. So if you're married, please, and your wife, let's say your wife is 33 and you are like 38 and she has masters and other factors, she has a sibling in Canada, please just allow her to be the primary applicant for your permanent resident application. So let's dive back to the topic of today. We're going to be talking about documents that is needed after you receive your invitation to apply. I'm going to be listing these documents and explaining in details each of these documents so you'd understand better. The first on my list is proof of funds. So for this proof of funds, you need to have a 6-month aging balance. I'm also going to be going through the amount that is needed for proof of funds per person. For one person, all you need in Canadian dollars is 13,310. If you're two, maybe you and your spouse, you need 16,570 Canadian dollars. If you're three, you, your spouse, and a kid, you need 20,371 Canadian dollars. Yeah, for 4 people, you need 24,733 Canadian dollars. For 5 people, you need 28,052 Canadian dollars. For 6 people, you need 31,638 Canadian dollars. For 7 people, you need 35,224 Canadian dollars. For each additional member of the family, you need 3,586 Canadian dollars. This is to say that you are adding another person to, that's another member of the family to, the last one I spoke about, which is 7. So let's say you are 8 now. You need an extra 3,586 Canadian dollars. Please note that at the time of this video, this is what is needed. But this changes every year. Another tip for POF is that I always advise that you please save in dollars. In my own case, I saved my proof of funds in US dollars because of the Naira dollar, the fluctuation in Naira dollar exchange rate. So I always advise that you please save your money in US dollars. Also, on the proof of funds, your spouse can decide to gift you the money also. Let's say my spouse is a primary applicant and I have some money hidden somewhere. Women, we can hide money, we can save well, and we now come and like, okay, my spouse, my husband, I have 5 million somewhere. You can actually gift to your husband. However, you would also give your consent saying, I'm giving my husband this 5 million naira. So they know that your husband did not just come and say, oh yeah, that money that I know that you have been taking from me, give it to me. I don't know if it gets me. So yeah, if you know that you are gifting your husband a particular sum of money, you need to give consent by writing it down. That I've dashed my husband, this is because of our future, and this is because of this application that we are both into. I'm gifting my husband the sum of 20 million naira. Another tip that is most important is that these funds, your proof of funds, should be readily available when you get your permanent resident visa, and even up to the point of entry, that is when you arrive Canada. So there are some people that just submit their statements showing proof of funds, and they take out the money. I have seen cases where Canada comes back to like, can you submit your 6-month statement, or can you submit your last 3-month statement? And the money is not there. Or you just go now, oh God, where did I keep the money? And you go and get the money and you're putting the money in as a lump sum. I don't know if you get me. So please, I always advise, again, leave that money there. If they say your money is $25,000, you can even increase it to like $26,000 and leave it there. Forget that money even exists till you get your permanent resident visa and till you even arrive in Canada. You might get to the point of entry and they're like, okay, so can we have, how much are you bringing to Canada? Can we see your balance, or can we see your account statement? And you don't have it. They would send you back. They have the right to send you back, because that money is supposed to assist you here before you get a job. So let's say you're coming with 0 naira and with family. How do you start living? How do you get an apartment? How do you get groceries? How do you eat? How do you survive? So that money is like your survival money. So please leave that money in your account and don't touch it. Sincerely, I have seen cases where they've sent people back because the POF, proof of funds, was not in their account, or they didn't even have it readily available. So I advise, please always keep your proof of funds intact. Put the money there and go somewhere else. Forget that money ever exists. Forget it is there. Really, just forget it. Yeah, the next on my list is police clearance certificate. That police clearance certificate, you need to prove to Canada that, you don't have any criminal records anywhere. And for people that have traveled to different countries, let's say you traveled to the UK, you have traveled to Dubai, you need police clearance certificate in all the countries that you have visited. So if you stayed there for like 1 month, you need police clearance certificate for that place. For me, the required police clearance that was needed, because I had not traveled anywhere, was 6 months, because I've stayed in that country for a long time. So please, always have at the back of your mind that you need your police clearance, and get it as soon as you get your invitation to apply, when you want to start submitting your documents, because there's start and the end date. If you have traveled to other countries, you start applying for it. Okay, I'm processing this my permanent resident application, and I need police clearance for this. They would give it to you. The next one is your medical examination. So this is kind of tricky, because when I started my own application, I did an upfront medicals. So there are two parts. You can either do upfront, or you wait till you get a letter from IRCC saying they need you to go for medical examination. So now let me explain why sometimes you need an upfront. So in my country, Nigeria, there are two places that you can do your medicals. It's either Q Live, which is on the island, and IOM, which is in Ikeja. However, because of the queue and the people that want to go for medicals, because you can't just go to any hospital and do your medicals, just those two bodies are where you can go for your medicals. So, and the population of people that are doing, not just Canada, you have people that are going for US visa, you have people that are also going for Australia and all that. And it's almost sometimes impossible to get a date within 30 days. That is why I did an upfront medical. It's more expensive, but I did an upfront medicals for my family and I. And that helped me, because when they were now asking for medical, it was already there. But then, if you haven't gotten invitation to apply and you go for your medicals, it is valid for just 1 year. It starts counting. Let's say you got your invitation to apply like 6 months after you've done medicals. You have 6 months left. So that's why I say it's kind of tricky. For me, I did and it paid. You understand? But if you want to just wait till you get the letter from IRCC saying, okay, we need your medicals, then you can go for your medicals. And the next step on my list is that you maintain a consistent travel history. Now, why I say this is, there are some tricky questions that they ask when you're filling your permanent resident application. There's this part they call personal history. They can ask you to state where you have been in the last 10 years or since you were 18, which comes first. Okay, so in the last 10 years, where have I been? In the last 10 years, I'm saying that I was in Dubai. They will ask you from the day, month, and year. They're not just asking you for the year, they're asking you from the day, month, and year. And I say I was in Dubai. I traveled to Dubai 3rd July 2017 to 5th August 2017. I was in Dubai. And they ask in my educational history, you understand, where I was so this time, because you also feel educational history, you will feel your work history. And in your education, you stayed or where you stayed so this time. You know, your personal history, you're going to be asked where you stayed. You understand, where you have been, where you were at a particular time. And that time contradicts to what you're saying in your work history, or contradicts to what you're saying in your educational history. Then there's a problem. I don't know if you get me. You can't be in Dubai at this particular time and you're supposed to be in school at that particular time. Or you can't say that you were in school at this particular time and you yourself also was working at this particular time. What I'm trying to say is you need to be consistent in your travel history. You cannot say in your travel history that you were in Dubai so this time and your passport is saying another thing, that you were in UK at that same time. There's a problem. Don't give them the opportunity to start doubting your application when you've never started. That's why I advise that you write these things down. Get your passport, all the data page, the travel history. If the old ones are expired, you need to bring it out and start writing. From this time to this time, where was I? From this day to this day, where was I? You need to write everything down. So when you are populating into the system, you are not missing anything out of it. So please, always be consistent with everything you're writing, because there shouldn't be any discrepancies at all. Next is also personal history, but I just spoke about it. Yeah, personal history, please. You have to be consistent in that personal history. The date has to align back to back, where you have stayed in the last 10 years or where you stayed since you were 18 years. Which comes first? You understand? You have to write. If there's even anything, anywhere that you feel that they might be confused about, you go to your LOE and write it. Your letter of explanation, you write it there. That okay, this time I was in Lagos, but I was also going to Ado Ekiti for a program. I was also going to this. You need to just explain to them so they understand better. If you don't write it, they would not understand. They will just go with what they can see in front of them. And this brings me to a letter of explanation. Letter of explanation is just a letter of anything at all in your application that you think they don't or would not understand. You need to explain to them. For example, you want to explain the part of POF, which is proof of funds. You understand? And maybe you sold a car. You don't have the bill of sale, or something happened along the line, or the person that transferred the money was different from the person that you sold the car to. You're saying you sold the car to a B, and an F is transferring the money to your account. You understand? There's an issue. They'll start, okay, why is someone else? Are you sure that that money was his? Or are you sure? Or you sold the car for 500k. The bill of sale is saying 500k, but what is entering your account is 1.5 million from the same person. You need to explain. So explain in your LOE whatever it is. Don't go through your application anywhere at all that you see that these people might not understand this. Explain it right there. Write it there. So because you might not be lucky for an agent to reply you saying, okay, we need additional requests. We can see that you have this. Can you explain further why this happened? You might not be lucky. There are some agents that don't have that time. They just go ahead and base their decision on what they are saying. So please use your LOE wisely. Use it well. Explain everything explainable. Don't ever submit your document without an LOE, except you are sure and very, very sure that everything is fine. You understand? But we can never be sure. Please explain any part of your document that needs an explanation in your LOE. So the next one is your work history. You have to provide your letter of employment, a reference letter. You also have to provide your payslip to convince them that you actually worked there. Okay, for example, last week I spoke about NOC, where you should choose an NOC that speaks to your job description. This is where it comes in, where you want to submit your reference letter. Your reference letter, they are stating your job duties, what you did. You understand? It needs to speak to the NOC that you've picked. So please, once you want to submit anything that has to do with your job, you need your job reference letter, you need the letter of employment, and you need your pay slip showing that money entering your account. So you might be earning like 2 million or 3 million monthly. That pay slip shows that the money is coming into your account from this from this source, right? So you need your pay slip just to further explain to them, so they don't have any doubts where that money is coming from. You understand? So where you have worked for more than 5 years, or the years you're claiming that you have worked, you need reference letter from that particular place. If you have left and you're working in another place, you also need to submit reference letter, just showing, because you'll ask if you're working, if you're unemployed, or you're working. So just show that you are presently working. Submit your reference letter and submit your letter of employment, and that's it. That takes care of work history. Next on my list is proof of sibling. If you are claiming that you have a sibling in Canada, that also adds you 15 points. You should have the proof that you have a sibling in Canada. And what is that proof? Your sibling in Canada needs to give you a scanned copy of their permanent resident card, scanned copy of an utility bill, and a scanned copy of their birth certificate. So why are these 3 documents needed? They need to know that that person is related to you. That person is your immediate sibling. There are some people that would say, I have one friend or I have one uncle, and when you are checking, your uncle is like how many generations away. Proof of sibling means your immediate sibling. Then the next one is marriage certificate. For the marriage certificate, you know that your marriage certificate, you have profession written there. So for example, your marriage certificate, you say you were a doctor, and in your profession where they are asking you are saying you're a plumber, there's an issue. So your marriage certificate, whatever you are saying you were there, has to tally with what you're saying you are when you're submitting your application. If it does not tally, explain to them why it doesn't. Maybe you change your profession. Explain to them why it has changed. So because in your marriage certificate, you get married in 2018. And is that 2018 you are submitting your application? So you got married January 2018, and that same January 2018 you submitted your application, and your marriage certificate is saying you're a plumber, and while in the application you're submitting you say you're a doctor. There's a problem. Some people don't know this. This is one tip that you must know. Marriage certificate has your profession. Always align and pay attention to details. Then the next one is that you need to submit your birth certificate and birth certificates of all the members of the family. Let's say you have kids, you need to submit the birth certificates of your kids showing that they are related to you, because you can't be applying for them and there's no proof showing that they are related to you. So you need to submit the birth certificate of yourself and your kids. Another thing you need to submit if you're married and you've changed your name, you need to submit the newspaper change of name. You need to have an affidavit saying that you've changed your name and your marriage certificate. Please take note. Then the last thing that you need to have is your passport photograph, or you have it in JPEG because you need to upload it. And that is the last thing that is on my list today that you need and that is required for your permanent resident profile. I'm going to go through it again, so please write it down somewhere. So the first thing is your POF. Second is your police clearance certificate. The third is medical examination for family, but this depends on how you want to do it. Either you want upfront or you want to wait for the letter from IRCC to book your medicals. The next one is that you maintain a consistent travel history. Not that you maintain a consistent personal history. Print it out. Let me tell you, in my own case, after I've submitted everything, they now requested for the ADR. So imagine I had not printed it down. Because these things, there's not everything you remember. Imagine I had not printed this down. I wouldn't have known. In short, what would I have written? So please, all these things, write them down. Print it down. Print them. So in case later they're asking you for an information, you already have it. You just put the same thing. Don't now start thinking, oh, what did I write? Was it number 6 I wrote or number 24? That's a problem already, because this information has to be consistent. The next one is letter of explanation, LOA. That one is just my favorite. Please explain anything you need to explain on your LOA. The next one is work history. Remember I said you need your reference letter, you need your employment letter, and you also need your pay stub, your paycheck. Then the other one is proof of relationship, sibling in Canada. Remember I told you that you need to have your siblings utility bill. You also need to have their permanent resident card, like a soft copy of the permanent resident card, and you also need their birth certificate, to prove to them that you guys are really related. Then the next is marriage certificate. Please get your marriage certificate. If you have changed your name, do an affidavit saying that you've changed your name. Print, go to the newspaper and publish that you have done change of name, and also you need to submit your marriage certificate. The next is birth certificate for your kids. I'm just going through it again, so you would write them down. Then birth certificate for yourself, and the photograph, that's the JPEG soft copy that you need. So that is it for pre-ITA. I have done series of video of what to do, what to get, how to go about your application before you get invitation to apply. Please, if you missed any of those videos, because it was done sequentially, if you missed any of these videos, please just go back to my YouTube channel and watch those videos so you understand step by step on how to go about your application before you receive your invitation to apply. So that's it for pre-ITA. Thank you guys for sticking around with me till the end of this video. See you guys next week, where we'll be talking about things to do, things to expect post-ITA, things to expect post-invitation to apply. This simply means once you get your invitation to apply and you've submitted all these documents, what do you do? See you guys next week. Have fun and have a lovely day. I love you. Bye.